give this man an Oscar nomination right now.
You were never ordinary.
So Rocketman is a new musical biopic that's based on the life of Elton John. That's really all you have to know about it. Alrighty guys, so let's get into Rocketman. Nope, not doing that again. Rocketman was a movie that I have been interested in for so long. I mean, I'm not the biggest Elton John fan per se, but I do like his music. I mean, Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, Tiny Dancer, which I actually heard from Almost Famous for the first time. I love I'm Still Standing, Your Song. The main reason, though, why I wanted to see this film was because of Taron Egerton. But getting right to the point, I loved Rocketman. I loved this movie. Getting right into it, Taron Egerton, oh my god, Taron Egerton, he is, to say the least, he is magnificent in this film. I have been a huge fan of Taron Egerton ever since I saw him in Kings from the Secret Service. He always had that Terminator-like ability to him as Eggsy, so when I found out that he was playing Elton John, hell yeah, I got excited. And actually, before I saw this movie, my buddy Lucas was telling me that he had heard Taron Egerton sing a Elton John song in the movie Sing, and I thought, oh, that's pretty cool, which, by the way, his singing I'll get to a little bit. But my god, Taron just absolutely crushes as Elton John. The energy he brings into this role. The moment that he came on screen, a big smile on my face. Now I was having the time of my life watching him not only perform these dance maneuvers and these musical numbers, which again I'll get to a little bit, but how he just knocks it out of the park playing Elton John. Seeing Taron Egerton just going through the stages and certain points of Elton John's life, there were certain points where I thought I was legitimately watching Elton John. But getting into this as well, Taron Egerton's singing. Now, like I mentioned before, my buddy Lucas mentioned to me that in the film Sing, which I actually have not seen, that Taron Egerton sung an Elton John song, which was I Am Still Standing, and he told me, dude, you gotta listen to this guy, see, because he is great, and he was not kidding. Now, of course, you're never going to find a guy that will sing like Elton John. I mean, Elton John's voice is just a one-of-a-kind out there. So all that you can really do is bring your own interpretation. And what Taron does with Elton John's songs, I swear, there are a couple of songs that I almost prefer his version over Elton's version. That's how good he is. So to that point, I will say this once again, give Taron an Oscar nomination. Another person who I loved in this film was Jimmy Bell, who plays Bernie Taupin, who, if you guys don't know, who is a longtime best friend of Elton John's. I loved their chemistry. There were certain spots where I felt very happy for their bond, and there was one particular point in which when they start breaking away from each other, I started tearing up. I also thought that Richard Madden was great as John Reed, and this is the only time I'm gonna bring up Bohemian Rhapsody in this review. I did not notice this before until I looked it up, but apparently in Bohemian Rhapsody, Aidan Gillen played John Reed, where here, Richard Madden played John Reed, and another thing that I realized as well is that the two of them are in Game of Thrones. Small world, right? One of the things that I absolutely loved about Rocketman was how this film tackles biopics in general. Now, of course, this movie could have just been another rock biopic that goes through the highs and lows of musicians' life. This movie could have been just another one of those. But Dexter Fletcher decides to approach this material as a musical fantasy, and to that end, this movie is very energetic. It has bravado to it, and every time a musical sequence came on, I was having the time of my life. And you guys know me, I'm not the biggest musical guy. A musical has to have the right subject matter, has to have just the right things in it, just for me to get interested in it. But no, every time that a musical number came on, especially when I heard Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, how they did that sequence. I've been listening to this movie's version of Saturday Night's Alright for Fighting, and every time I hear it, I get jazzed and I get pumped up, to say the least. And to that end, since they approach this movie like a musical fantasy, it gives the biopic genre a fresh spin. And going into Elton John himself, now, I didn't know a lot of the stuff when it came to his personal life, but when this movie goes into certain aspects, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, there are a couple of parts that I teared up big time. And I actually took my mom to go see this movie, and she was tearing up at the same parts I was. One in particular, it makes me want to cry right now just thinking about it. I mean, this was such a powerful moment, and how they did this in this movie, just, again, brilliantly done. But the other thing that I really dug about Rocketman is how this movie tells the story of Elton John. I mean, not just from the musical sequences, but I feel like this movie did a really clever way of telling the story of Elton John's life. And going into the technical aspects of this film, I loved how Rocketman was shot. I mean, the musical sequences alone were a lot fun to watch, but how the camera moves gives so much flair and so much energy to the musical sequences. And I loved how specific sequences were shot. I mean, seriously, I believe his name is George Richmond. He did a phenomenal job of shooting a lot of the sequence in this film. And another thing that I loved about this film was the ending scene. I loved the ending so damn much. As far as issues go, I only have one issue, but the issue is so minute that it doesn't really hold the film back. And that's that there's maybe one or two scenes in the film in which there is a very small tidbit of a section that I feel like that goes on for maybe a tad too long, but that's it. Overall, I absolutely loved Rocketman. Not only did I have an absolute blast with this film, but the film was energizing. There are parts where I laughed, there are parts where I teared up. How this film tackles the biopic genre and Taron Egerton's performance were just top-notch and just magnificent. All in all, I had such an awesome time with Rocketman. This is easily one of my favorite films of the year, so I'm going to give Rocketman a 5 out of 5 stars. Absolutely love this film. I just might go see this movie again. But guys, if you love musicals or if you love Elton John, go see this movie. Or just go see this movie in general. Alright guys, so comment out and let me know below. Have you guys seen Rocketman yet? What did you guys think? Let me know below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch. I'm also on Snapchat and Stardust. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links to the museums are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Rocketman. If so, please hit that like button, share, subscribe. Also, don't forget to hit that notification bell for whenever a new video of mine goes live. If y'all want to see any of my previous 2 videos, please click either right there or there. And of course, until my next review, I will see you guys next time.